Hey folks, Professor Finn here, and today we're going to start looking at specific type of restorations in our restorative art lecture. Um, there will not be a lot of pictures on these slides, so one of the things that YouTube will do is they will just take the video down and give you a channel strike for displaying trauma and stuff. So this is going to rely an awful lot on words, not a whole lot on pictures, so I'll do my best to accurately describe what we're talking about. Now, take a moment to like, share, subscribe, click the notification button, drop something in the comments below to feed the algorithm, just to let know that people are watching this. Share this on your social media. Let another fellow student know this video exists. Post it somewhere people will see it. Go ahead and get this tool out and about because that's what it's here for. Let's go ahead and get the screen shared. And today we're going to talk about abrasions. So let's go ahead and get the pen up. So what is an abrasion? It's an antemortem injury resulting from friction of the skin against a firm object resulting in the removal of the epidermis. Super hard to remember. It's rubbing skin off. In some way, shape, or form, an abrasion is simply a friction burn. A laceration is a wound or an irregular tear of the flesh. A scab is a crust over a sore or a wound. Massage cream is a soft, white, oily preparation resembling cream and used as a protective coating for external tissue, a base for cream cosmetics, and it can be used as a wax softener. Forceps, a surgical instrument with two opposing blades used to grasp or hold tissue or material. A scalpel, a surgical knife with a short blade. The epidermis is the outermost layer of the skin. And an exposed area is any visible area that is to remain uncovered or unclothed. Now, depending on ethnicity, religion, other factors, an exposed area may change depending on who you serve. So, for instance, the most common exposed areas that we have on all bodies are faces and hands. But if someone brings in a shorter shirt or a short sleeve or no sleeve blouse, now you have arms that are exposed areas. If you are familiar with people who are practicing the Hindu faith, those are generally full couch caskets and the feet are visible. So when we look at exposed areas, the definition for exposed area is any visible surface that is to remain uncovered or unclothed. It is not just face and hands. Pores, minute depressions on the surface of the skin as the opening of the sweat glands. So, abrasions can be shallow, as in when a person falls to the ground and scrapes skin, or they can be deep, as in involved in a motorcycle accident, commonly known as road rash. In extensive cases, it is common to find lacerations within the abraded areas. And the interval between time of injury and time of death will determine what color the abrasion is. They go from pink to pale yellow, maybe brownish, to a dark brown, and then to black. So, very important you understand the color change progression with abrasions. Pink, the freshest. Pale yellow to brownish, secondary stage. Dark brown, third stage, and black is the final stage of an abrasion. And the interval between time of death and when the embalmer receives the remains for treatment will determine the level of dehydration involved with what you're dealing with. And here's a hint, spoiler alert, you want abrasions dehydrated. You want them as firm as possible. If an abrasion forms in a non-visible area, the presence of a scab is not important from a restorative viewpoint. After embalming, the abrasion can be sealed with a sealer and covered with cotton. In other words, if it's not somewhere someone's going to be looking at it, then after embalming, you could slap a compress on top of it. You could just put some cotton, tape it down to prevent any leakage, and you can quote-unquote forget about it. If the abrasion is on a viewable part of the body, well, now the rules change and you got some things to do. So 1, before embalming, the area around the abrasion should be covered in massage cream, but do not apply it to the abraded area. The reason is when you are injecting, remember, your embalming fluid is going to have active dyes. They're actively going to be staining tissue. If this is in a visible area, that skin is going to stain if your abrasion leaks fluid. So by putting massage cream over the skin, if something should leak, it won't affect the good tissue. Remove scabs after embalming because they cause irregular texture on the skin. So, one of the ways you can prevent discoloration from the fluid is by leaving the scab in place. Once it's done, we can take the scab off, apply a cautery compact to it to dry it out, and away we go. And it says it right there, after removing scabs, dried or loose, the area should be dried with a cauterizing chemical and then dried with cotton and sealed with a sealer. You could use carbolic acid, phenol, that is your postine, drying, stuff of that nature. You could use maybe a cavity chemical, especially if it's phenol-based. Frigid fluid, for instance, has a majority, they like to advertise the majority of their fluids are phenol-based fluids. So that could be something that you utilize with a proper cavity fluid. Once sealed, wax or mastic can be applied and pores, lines, wrinkles can be reproduced. Because of the darkening of the skin, cosmetic will need to be applied. Some embalmers apply cosmetic before applying wax. We've already seen that that is one of the modeling techniques you can do. So the moral of the story is you protect the area around the abrasion. You perform your embalming. Remember, what is the mantra for all restorative techniques? Firm, dry, well-embalmed tissue. So once you are done, you will need to inspect the abrasion, dry it with cautery chemical, apply some type of pore sealer. Might want to put opaque cosmetic over it initially with wax, evening things off. You could apply the wax and then put cosmetic over it. From there on in, that is your preference. So abrasions, folks, not a whole lot to them. Fairly easy. Over the course of your career, you will be handling these with some level of frequency. When in doubt, feel free to reach out to your chemical companies or maybe a restorative art specialist if you have questions about how to handle something you haven't seen before. But honestly, there's not a whole lot of tricks in our toolkit. Embalm it, dry it, seal it, cover it up. That's the typical sequence of events. So once again, folks, take a moment to like, share, subscribe, click notifications. Let me know how this lecture was. Drop it in the comments below, and we will see you next video.